All right. So the second thing that we talk about here is your expenditure. Now, what does expenditure entail? It entails the interest expended, that is the interest paid by bank to any party. All right. If my voice is not audible, please tell me in the chat section. I'll try to clear the voice. Then after that, you have operating expenses, as we were talking about. Now, what are operating expenses? They are the basic day-to-day expenses that are incurred in any bank, just like any other company. So here you have payments and provisions for employees. You have rent, taxes, and lighting. You have printing and stationery, advertisement, publicity, law charges, postage, repairs, etc. Various kinds of any expenses that you occur on a day-to-day basis. Now, after we have accounted for all the incomes and all the expenditures, ultimately we get the net profit or the net loss. All right. Now, and what do we add to it? We add to it the profit or the loss that has been brought forward. So maybe there is some profit brought forward from the previous financial time, from the previous financial cycle. So we add it over here. All right. Now this includes this may include any profit or loss that has not been used in any kind of investment, or it has not been given out as dividend, and still it is there in the profit account. So we will bring it to this year and we will add it. All right. Just similarly as whatever balances are there in the balance sheet, they are brought forward to the next year. Same is the case for profits here. Now, once you subtract the expenditure from the income, you get the net profit or net loss for the year. Now, because this is a bank, we do not stop over there. After we have achieved the net profit or the net loss, we have to take care of the appropriations. What are the appropriations? They are basically the provisions laid down by the RBI, where we have to transfer certain amount of money to the various reserves, as we talked about earlier. Now there is statutory reserve. You have to transfer a certain percentage, let's say 20%, it is usually 20%. Then you have, if it is 20%, for example, RBI decides what will be the percentage. Let's say if it is 20%, so then 20% of the net profit has to be transferred to the statutory reserve. If there is any other reserve, cash reserve, if there is some government dividend, some proposed dividend, if it has to be transferred to the government, if there are taxations, all right, all these things are to be considered in the appropriation account. So, and what appropriations, what will they be done? They will basically be subtracted, because this is the money we are taking away from the profit. Okay. So once we have achieved the net profit or we have achieved the net loss, these are the various reserves that we will take away from the net profit or the net loss. Okay. So we are going to deduct it. So this ends both the formats. Now there are some important items which you need to consider. First is inter-office adjustments. If there are any inter-office adjustments balance, they should be shown under this head, under the head of inter-office adjustments. All right. Now only net position of inter-office accounts, inland as well as foreign, should be shown here. What are inter-office accounts? Accounts within a bank. Now, of course, there are accounts within the bank that you are transferring money to, right? There may be an account for the HR, there may be an account for the advertising, for the publicity, and so on. These are all inter-office accounts. Or maybe SBI, let's say SBI is a huge bank, it has many branches. So when SBI, the main branch of SBI in a city is sending some money to another branch, all right, or in a district, it is sending some money to another branch, let's say a rural branch. So this is inter-office transaction. The main branch of SBI is sending some money to the rural branch. All right, maybe some cash or maybe some deposits, whatever. So for inter-office adjustments, and if they are in debt, they should be shown under the heading of debt. Otherwise, and only net position is shown. Okay, whatever is the net position. For example, Main branch transferred 5 lakhs to the rural branch. Rural branch got various deposits, its account holders that deposited money, let's say of 3 lakhs. Rural branch sent back 3 lakhs. So what is net? Net is only 2 lakhs. All right. So we only have to mention the net amount. Rebates on bill discounted. This is very important. Please go through rebates on bill discounted at your end also. Go through the theory and have a, and if you have any questions, you can always ask. It is also known as the discount received in advance or unexpired discount. All right. Or discount received but not earned. Okay. It is basically the discount that you have received on bills, but you have not earned it. For example, let's say, this is just an example. This is not a real case scenario, just an example to make you understand. Like if you are paying the bill of electricity and you have to pay it in the next month and you get a subsidy from the government on the electricity. Let's say you get 200 rupees. So now the thing is that you have still not paid the bill for the next month. Okay, you have still not paid it, but you have received the subsidy. So this is the discount that you have earned. You have received, but you have not earned. Why? Because you have not yet made the payment. Similarly, if on any bill the bank has not made a payment and yet it has received the discount, this discount comes under rebates on bill discounted. Now, what do we have to be careful about is we have to look at the question. If we are solving a question which involves rebate on bill discount, we have to look at the question. If it says that it is only given in the trial balance, if it is only given in the trial balance, then we have to show as a liability on the balance sheet. All right, we have to show it as a liability on the balance sheet. If it is given in adjustments, if it is given separately, if it is given in adjustments, then it is to be deducted from the income from interest, the interest income that we talked about. It has to be deducted from there and discount in profit and loss account. Okay. And it will also appear on the side of liability in the balance sheet. So profit and loss account के case में क्या होना? It has to be deducted from the income from interest and discount in profit and loss account, and it will appear on the liability side of the balance sheet. Now, talking about bad debts and provisions for bad debts. Now, entries are passed, writing off bad debts and for making provisions for bad debt, doubtful debts in the book of banks. Okay. However, these entries should not be reflected in the final account of the bank. All right. These entries are not reflected in the final account of the bank. Now, as I told you earlier, that it is not considered good for the reputation of the bank to include these bad debts in its final accounts, because the customers, the investors may start feeling that the bank will not be able to repay their, the bank will not be able to pay back their money, or the bank will not be able to pay back the deposits, the fixed deposits that they have made, and they may simply start taking out all the money. They may simply start cashing out. It will create a cash crunch. It will create a panic, because a bank might not have that amount of cash with it at that point of time. So in order to prevent such kind of panics, in order to maintain the integrity of the bank, in order to maintain the reputation of the bank, these entries of doubtful debts are not reflected in the final accounts of the banks. All right. Amount of provision for doubtful debts is merged with provisions and contingencies. Now we'll do it. We'll see this when we are doing a question. After this, we are going to do a question. You'll see there that the amount of provision debt is not written separately. In fact, it is mentioned under provisions and contingencies in the profit and loss account. All right. How it is mentioned? We will go through it. Now, said amount is deducted from the advances shown in the balance sheet. It is necessary for banks to disclose the fact about the existence of provision in the statement of accounting policies. Now, yes, we are not disclosing the amount of doubtful debts, but then we are disclosing that such a provision exists. Okay. So the investors know that yes, there are doubtful debts, and there are doubtful debts when a bank is involved, because there are so many non-performing assets, there are so many people who default, or there are people who are not able to pay back. Like in today's time, in this time of lockdown, in this time of economic crisis, there are many people who are not able to pay back the amount that has been lent to them. So in such a case, there will be a provision for doubtful debts, of course, but it is not necessary for the bank to actually give all the details of that provision of doubtful, whatever the details of that doubtful debt or how much bad debts it has. So here we end the theory. All right, and now we are going to solve the question.